Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Today, we'll be sharing our recent work of snow leopard population assessment in the Sanjiangyuan region on the Tibetan Plateau in China, which is actually the first large-scale pulse assessment in China. I am the facilitator Chunyue Wei today, and a brief introduction of myself. I have been participating in snow leopard monitoring and conservation work on the Tibetan Plateau for the last 3 years, and I am now dedicated to other effective area-based conservation measures like OECMs in China. Like many snow leopard conservation work could be have potential to be OECMs. And I am gladly to be part of this our exciting pulse work. And our speaker today, Xueyang Li, she is a scientific consultant at Shenxui Conservation Center and also a postdoctoral researcher at Peking University. She has focused on large carnivores on the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau since 2017. And she started her research from snow leopard population, and her PhD is focusing on the interspecific relationship between sympatric snow leopards and common leopards. She's now focusing on snow leopard initiatives in Shenxui and also managing the camera trap database. I think we also have Professor Ling Yunxiao online. She is an associate professor from Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University, and she is actually the leading expert of this work. So maybe we can have more discussion later after Xueyang's talk. So during Xueyang's talk, please feel free to type in questions in the chat box, and we can have more discussion later. So I will give the floor to Xueyang.
Yes, thanks, Chunyue, for introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and maybe for some participants, good morning or good night. I'm Xueyang from Peking University and Shanxi Conservation Center. It is a great honor to be here to present our work on the first large-scale assessment of snow leopard population in China. So Chunyue and I are the both co-first author for this paper, and not only for us, a lot of people and institutions contributed to making this work happen. So the work group includes researchers and conservationists from Peking University, Shanxi Conservation Center, Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University, Plateau Nature Conservancy, Yanbao Yuze Conservation Association, also with the help of GSLab and Snow Leopard Trust. So before I start, I want to give thanks to all those participants for this large work. So this work has been published on biodiversity and conservation for this January. So first, let me introduce the background of this work. We all know that spatial population ecology is critical for effective biodiversity management. And for snow leopard is the flagship species for high mountains in Asia. As the top predators, they play a vital role in the whole ecosystem conservation. So understanding their distribution and density is key to the whole ecosystem conservation. But why counting snow leopard is so hard? I guess all the participants know why it's so hard to count the snow leopards. Besides their ecological characteristics, such as their extensive distribution and extremely low density, the lack of standardized methods also bring challenges to this work. So these factors have led to widely varying global estimates as shown in here. Historical estimates vary significantly due to the methodological limitations. So mainly in two aspects. The first is that the past surveys are mainly concentrated in small study areas. This may overestimate local density of snow leopard. So if we extrapolate the larger the whole area or the area of larger interest, this could also bring a overestimated population number. And also, valid techniques such as camera traps and genetic surveys are limited applied in the past. Up to 2018, the valid techniques has been only applied to a small fraction, that is 2% of snow leopard distribution area. So the population assessment of the world's snow leopards, which is abbreviated as PAWS, was launched in 2017. This program is to provide a scientifically robust estimate of the global snow leopard population size. It is a two-step framework. So the first one is to generate a stratification surface for snow leopard. We could map the habitat suitability using covariates and then stratify the suitable habitat. This could be done in multiple methods. And after we get the habitat strata, we could then estimate the abundance for per stratum. This could be done by sampling inside each stratum and then get the average density or the abundance. So based on the density for each stratum, we could extrapolate the result to the whole area of interest. With this framework, we could ensure that our sampling was representative for the whole snow leopard habitat. So in recent years, the survey efforts has been accumulating in China very fast, and most surveys were conducted in very solid methods like camera traps and genetic surveys, which provide the foundation for applying PAWS framework in China. In Qinghai, as a case, this is a province from China. Areas with density survey has been covered over 14,000 kilometers square when 2018. So when we applied a PAWS framework in China, we would like to make the most of existing data. But there could be problems with the existing data. For existing data, it was collected by different organizations. So different organizations may apply different design and data processing standards. So this could bring challenges to combine the data together for comprehensive analysis. And also, the existing data may not follow a systematic design before. So it may be lack of representativeness. So before we use the existing data, we have to evaluate the representativeness of the data to address potential bias. So the PAWS framework is to make sure that different snow leopard habitat quality gradient or strata are all well represented. So for our situation is to make sure that existing data are representative enough for different snow leopard habitat stratum. So we just adjust the two-step framework into a three-step framework. So the first step is to determine the snow leopard habitat stratum, and then we assess representativeness of our density survey data. And last, we estimate snow leopard population density and abundance. So where we applied the PAWS framework is called Sanjiangyuan region, is the yellow shade in this figure. So Sanjiangyuan means the source region of Three River. It is located on the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau. It covers an area over 360,000 kilometers square. It is a very large area. It's the source region of three giant rivers, which is Yellow River, Yangtze River, and also Mekong River. It is also a very important habitat for snow leopards. It contains vast snow leopard habitat, and also several research institute, conservation organizations, NGOs together work in that area with the support of local government. The dot and the stars shown on this map, indicates the distribution and density surveys that has been carried out in Sanjiangyuan region. So firstly, we determine the snow leopard habitat stratum By doing this, we estimate snow leopard distribution probability across the whole landscape. We use the data set, including snow leopard present sites that has been collected during 2008 and to 2017. This data set not only contains snow leopard present sites from camera trap data, but also for genetically identified fecal samples of snow leopards. So it is a very comprehensive data set. We then used maxent modeling and incorporate 26 environment variables to model the snow leopard habitat suitability. And based on the training and testing AUC, the model performed well. This shows the snow leopard habitat suitability inside Sanjiangyuan region. And then we used the maximum training sensitivity and specificity clock log threshold to define the snow leopard habitat. And we obtained over 100,000 kilometers squared snow leopard habitat in Sanjiangyuan region. This is about 1/3 of this region. By doing this, it helped us to define the scale, which later it helped us to define the scale to extrapolate the density estimates. And then we used two stratification methods to conduct the stratification to ensure the representativeness of our data. The first one is based on the distribution probability. This distribution probability is generated from maxent modeling. We use Jenks optimization methods to conduct the stratification, and it obtained 3 strata, and we call it a distribution probability strata. And then for the second stratification method, we applied zonation. So the zonation software or analysis could take the habitat connectivity into account. And based on that, we used 20% at the interval and obtained 5 strata. We called it conservation priority strata. After we obtained the snow leopard habitat strata, we then assess the representativeness of our density survey data. So first, we filtered our existing survey by PAUS standardized individual identification procedure. So we have several organizations doing work in Sanjiangyuan region, and there are a lot of survey sites. We obtained 16 survey sites in total, and after the filtering, we obtained 12 survey sites that are follow the same standards, and 4 sites were excluded because of different standards. To meet up the closure assumption for the capture-recapture model, we only retained 3 months data for further analysis. So for those 12 survey sites and within 3 months period, we have 280 camera trap sites, and we recorded 127 snow leopard individuals, which contained 354 independent snow leopard captures. We then used histograms to assess the representativeness of our data. So for the first stratification method, that is for the distribution probability strata, we can see from the histogram that our camera traps covered all 3 strata, which showed good representativeness across low, middle, and high quality of snow leopard habitat. But for the conservation priority strata, our camera trap only covers 3 strata out of 5. This reminds us that if we want to extrapolate our result based on conservation priority value, our data may represent poorly in those 2 strata with lower conservation priority value. After we assess our representativeness, we then estimate the snow leopard population density and abundance using the data from 12 survey sites. We applied multi-session spatial explicit capture-recapture modeling. Unlike past PAUS survey, which used the average density in each strata, we directly incorporate covariates into the density for the modeling. We include three types of variables into the model. The first is continuous latent variables, that is representing habitat quality, which includes snow leopard distribution probability generated from Maxent and the conservation priority value generated from zonation software. And then we also included discrete latent variables as well. That actually is the stratification, the strata we get, which is distribution probability strata generated from Maxent, and also the conservation priority strata, that is 5 strata generated from zonation. And we also include the key environmental variables that in past study could perform well in predicting snow leopard habitat, that is ruggedness, coverage of bare land, and coverage of pasture. We then use AIC to rank all the candidate models, and our rank top model is we only have one, that is with conservation priority strata, and its delta AIC is larger than 4 with those candidates. So based on the rank topped strata, we first extrapolate our result inside the snow leopard habitat inside the Sanjiangyuan region, that is over 100,000 kilometers square. We then obtain the mean density of snow leopard as 0.9 individuals per 100 kilometers square. And in that area, we get the population size of snow leopard as 1,002. And so we don't want to overestimate snow leopard populations, and especially in that large area. So we get 2 more conservative estimates by defining 2 more conservative survey regions. So the first is we only extrapolate to area where we have knowledge. That is defined by, we generated a buffer, 80 kilometer buffer around all the snow leopard presence records as our survey region. We choose 80 kilometer because that the known longest dispersal distance from the coloring is 77 kilometer. And by this survey region, we obtained snow leopard population as 971. And for the second conservative estimate, we only extrapolate to strata with higher representativeness. As we conducted the representativeness assessment, we found that our data only cover 3 out of 5 conservation priority strata. So we only extrapolate our results to those strata, and we obtained the population of 978. So in our study, we first tested the method feasibility, that is, could we use existing data to assess large-scale snow leopard population? And we found that actually it performed well. By this to evidence. So the 3 extrapolating ways, which this is inside snow leopard habitat, and 2 more conservative ways, shows similar results. The population difference is less than 30 individuals. And also, we cross-validate our result from 2 different data sets. You may remember that the distribution probability, which is generated from Maxent modeling, contains data from 2008 to 2017, and it also contains not only camera trap data, but also genetic survey data. It is a comprehensive data set. And for density modeling, we only use 12 size camera trap data and also 3 months period. So it's kind of a short period data. So these two result are from two distinct survey data sets, and they showing the consistent tendency, that is, area with higher distribution probability or conservation priority also have higher density. That is, the beta covariate of our multi SECR model is positive, and also for its 95% conservation interval. So in our study, we provided an alternative stratification methods besides occupancy survey that is suggested by the PAUSE protocol. So for donation, the conservation priority value could take the habitat connectivity into account, that may better represent the snow leopard habitat value. And also, not only for us, now PAUSE work are carried out in other snow leopard habitats in China now. As we know, we just have a China snow leopard workshop last week. So we found that Sichuan province, which snow leopard habitat is over 160,000 kilometers square, they have a whole province PAUSE survey for snow leopards, and is carrying on. We are also very looking forward to their result. And for Qilian Mountain National Park, which located in Qinghai and also in Gansu provinces, the total area is over 150,000 kilometers square. They just obtained their PAUSE results. It's about 250 snow leopard individuals. So now we are happy to see that the PAUSE framework and all the standardized framework for snow leopard large-scale assessment is carrying out in China. So here is our take-home message. From our study, we find that existing data can be used for population assessment for large scale, but it is needed to be carefully assessed. The first is that we need to standardize or filter with unified protocols of our data. And second is we need to address the data representativeness before we just jump into density modeling or extrapolate to larger area. And also, one of the problem we met during the analysis is that we use a quite long period survey data set for Sanjiangyuan region. So we need to ensure that no drastic change happens in our study area if the survey span for a long time. So for Sanjiangyuan region, the conservation work has been started before 2008. That is before when we carry out our work. And also it is a very low human density area, so we could ensure that the snow leopard distribution pattern or density patterns has not been changed drastically during our analysis period. So this work has been supported by not only for our collaborators, but also for local government and our community monitors. I want to express my thanks here, and also thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Xueyang, for the very detailed presentation. And I think we have a question in the chat box from Iqbal Ali Kahan about how many leopards are there in China as per recent population study. Yeah, I think Xueyang has mentioned that we have the results for the Sanjiangyuan region, which is approximately 1,000 snow leopard, and we also have another region in Qilian Mountains, which is about 250 snow leopards. Yeah, and I think there are, as Xueyang has mentioned, there are many other regions in China who are now doing much of snow leopard monitoring and research work and are trying to use the PAUSE methods to conduct snow leopard population assessment. But currently we don't have much more accurate or detailed data from them Yeah, I think maybe Xueyang or Lingyun can add more to this question, as Lingyun is leading the work for IUCN snow leopard assessments in China.
I think you know the same as I am. Yeah, since you are also joining the So we are compiling all those published data and some data from gray literature across different sites of China who already have data. But the data we are compiling now, we have been able to compiling now, is maybe only part of the result that can be shared to us at this current time. Yeah. So I guess for IUCN assessment, we can only have a very close estimate of the overall snow leopard population in China.
Thank you, Lingyun. We also have a question from Thomas Osinga about how did you define the conservation priority value for the donation classification? So Xueyang, could you answer this question?
Okay, so the donation analysis was also based on the habitat suitability generated from Maxent. We input the habitat suitability into donation software, and we only include this information into that. So because that in Maxent modeling, we already include a lot of environmental variables and also high resolution human impact in Sanjiangyuan region. So for the donation analysis, we only input the habitat suitability into analysis. The donation would rank and give score to each pixel of our study area. So it would give it's like a rank it would rank all the pixels and give a score between 0 to 100. So we just divided with 20% as the interval, and then we got the donation classification.
Thank you, Xueyang. We also have a question from Flavia Franchini Silvera. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. He asked, can you mention in more detail how did you standardize the different methods? Did all follow PAWS? Can you use data that don't follow PAWS standards?
Yes. So before we put all the snow leopard individual data into SECR analysis, we need to ensure that in different study areas and also for different organizations, we define independent snow leopard individuals with the same standard that is followed PAWS. So it contains at least 3 people. So for the first staff, he would independently identify all snow leopard individuals. And for the second one, he will also identify the snow leopard independently. So when the results from those 2 staffs, they have differences in snow leopard individual identification, we would involve the third staff to like justify is it a independent snow leopard individual or is the same one. So we all follow these standards that is suggested by PAWS to identify snow leopard individuals. Yes, and for analysis, we only include data from one side, that is maybe from the left side of the snow leopard or the right side. So this ensures that we won't replicate snow leopard individuals for modeling. In some cases, we only recorded one side of the snow leopard. and maybe it's the left side, or for another it's the right side, and they may be the same individual. So we only use one side to identify the snow leopards. That is a standardized methods we are applied for our 12 sites. And for the rest 4 sites that we don't include, it's not follow the PAW standards. Either is not checked by the second people or second person or the third person, or the camera traps is set with a linear design that will violate the assumption of capture-recapture analysis. So yes, we cannot use data that don't follow standardized methods.
Thank you. And we have a question from Oliver Worm. He said a really interesting work, and he's wondering when the total estimate for snow leopards in China will be available, and will new surveys be needed, or are existing data sufficient? Maybe Xueyang or Lingyun can answer this question.
Yes, I would say it's really hard to get the comprehensive snow leopard population assessment now in China, because China is we have very vast snow leopard habitat, and still in some regions like in Tibet, Xizang, and Xinjiang provinces is still a lot of survey gaps. So we cannot have representative data for those areas, but it also contains vast snow leopard habitats. So definitely new surveys will be needed. And for some regions like Gansu province or Qinghai provinces or Sichuan province, the existing data has been accumulated to a quite high level. So for this area, our existing data may be sufficient to get a snow leopard assessment, population assessment, but it's also take a lot of work to combine those data together, not only for the data processing, but also for the communicating. Lingyun, would you want to supplement?
Yeah, I think the thing is, the difficult part is not only about data accumulation. As Xueyang just mentioned, many provinces have already accumulated enough data. The difficult part is data sharing. So we need maybe one central coordinator who can convince everyone to share the data and then put them in a standardized protocol, as we did for Sanjiangyuan region, and then run the similar analysis. I guess for now, the data might already be quite enough for the major regions where the snow leopards are distributed in China. But I think the bottleneck here is the data sharing, because there are so many stakeholders in different provinces who are doing this kind of monitoring. Yeah.
Thank you, Xueyang and Lingyun. We have a question from Shreyesh Bhutia about how do you make data representative of the entire population? Do you try covering 30% of the habitat to make a prediction of all of the habitat? How do you control for confounding variables such as poaching, prey population changes, or abrupt land use changes?
Yes. So we calculate our survey effort by using the mask generated from SECR modeling, and the masking area covered 28%, if I remember correct, of the snow leopard habitat in Sanjiangyuan region. So the survey effort is quite high. So then we have the confidence to use the data for following density analysis. And also we conducted the data representativeness assessment for our data set in different habitat strata. For the distribution probability strata, our data covered all 3 strata. And for the conservation priority strata, our data covered 3 out of 5 strata. And we also and for the later stratification methods, our data may have poor representativeness for those with lower conservation priority. But when we only extrapolate to where we have higher representativeness, we obtain the result that is quite similar with the extrapolation inside snow leopard habitat. So we think that our data has been representative for at least for the Sanjiangyuan region. Yes, yes, that is also the problems we met during the analysis. So our data set, especially for distribution probability modeling, spanned from 2008 to 2017. We also been questioned if there are drastic change happening in that area. So we didn't use model to address the confounding variables, like you said. But in this area, we could, because we have been working in this area since 2008. During our work, we didn't detect drastic change that happening in this area, especially for like poaching or pre-population changes, or even abrupt land use changes. That is for two. We have two reasons. So the first reason is that this area, for now, is Sanjiangyuan National Park. It's the conservation work or policy has been started before 2008. That is where we start our work. And the second is in Sanjiangyuan region, the human population, human density is quite low. And we also incorporate high resolution human impact variables into our habitat modeling. So we didn't model that again in the density modeling.
Thank you, Xueyang. We have another question from Iqbal Ali Kahan about has the snow leopard in China faced threats from hunting in recent years? And if yes, what measures have been taken to address this issue?
Yes, I think hunting is now the main threat for snow leopards in China now. We have a gun ban policy in early 2000. So for now, the hunting for snow leopard, I think, is quite rare in China. And we also conducted analysis for the threats that is in different snow leopard range provinces in China. We conducted this research in 2018, also led by Professor Xiao Lingyun. And we found that in different regions, we have different threats towards snow leopards and in different provinces. Some are maybe because of feral dogs or the lack of ability for the especially local government or local communities. But we didn't detect any, I think, any threats from hunting or poaching.
Thank you, Xueyang. We have a question from Bayara Agvant Saren about how did you collect your data in terms of human power? Did you involve local communities or rangers?
Yes. So not yes. For the data collection, it really needs a lot of people and money to do it. And we started in a quite early year, that is 2008. And not only for Shanxi or Peking University, our collaborators like Plateau Nature Conservancy and Nianbao Yuze, they also started monitoring work based on local communities. Actually, we have a community-based camera trap modeling system, and we started, I think it's 2011. Professor Lin Yun also put a lot of effort into making this happen. we trained local communities, rangers from local communities or herders from local communities how to use the camera traps, and we designed their communities into 5 kilometer grid, and we go into the mountains with them to pick a good site for snow leopard, and then they will maintain the camera trap every 3 months. This has been carried out for over 10 years, and for now we have like a database for it, and they're still maintaining, and local communities is still maintaining the camel trap for us. Do you want to say more about this?
Well, I want to add a little bit more about the last question about confounding variables. I think it's a very good question. I want to just add a little bit more about it. I guess you are asking about the SCCR model, the density model. And yes, we have, as Xueyang just mentioned, the poaching threat is very low in Sanjiangyuan region because of the gun control policy and also the Buddhism belief there. Or we don't have any abrupt land use changes. But for density modeling, we do include other like topography and climate variables as to compare the models when we build our density model. We not only build the density model based on our strata, based on the maximum ozonation result, but also we compare those models with the density model containing only topography and or climate variables, and the model ranking result showed that I think if I remember correctly, it's the strata is the model containing only strata as the single variable ranked the highest. Yeah. So, but yes, prey population abundance would be quite an important variable if we have that to add into the model. But unfortunately, we don't have so many prey service across such a large area. Yeah.
Thank you, Lingyue and Xueyang. We have another question from Flavia Francini Silvera about is there a large difference for regions with larger human settlements? How can you adapt for these regions? And also can you do it for other species?
Yes, I believe so. Well, that is a great question, but actually for the snow leopard range in China, it's mainly on the plateau area or nearby the plateau area. So for those areas, I think the human settlements, the density is also very low. But we do have some snow leopard population nearby the city. In Xinjiang province, in Urumqi, I think they have a document snow leopard presence very near, very close to the city. But I couldn't remember the specific distance. These regions. Yes, I think our work also provide another options for the density modeling. That is, we don't calculate the mean density inside each strata or inside each stratum. We use the covariate directly to address the difference of density. So for this kind of regions, we could just involve the human impact into the covariate and to address the density. Yes, I think we can do it for other species. All the species that could be identified individually could apply to these methods. Actually, we also conduct common leopards analysis in the same area. And Lin, do you want to supplement that?
No, I think yeah. If I think you understand the question is about with yeah. I think the lucky part for our study here is that we have a very good fine resolution human settlement, human land use data set to use to make the prediction map for snow leopard at the first place. And that is because based on a collaborative work we conducted several years ago with the satellite center in China. So they have used fine scale satellite images to interpret all those human settlements and factories, schools, or different kind of human land use activities in this region. But for other provinces, I guess, especially for provinces with higher human density, this kind of layer will become even more crucial to make the distribution map and also to estimate the density.
Okay, thank you, Xueyang and Lin, for your answers. Let me see. We have a comment or question from Adaba Alim Chaudhry. He is from Lahore in Punjab, Pakistan. He is retired Director General of Wildlife and Parks, Punjab, and Chief Conservator of Forests, Punjab, Pakistan. He has worked with snow leopard habitat in Pakistan, though not specifically on snow leopard. And his work is mostly on markhor and other mountain ungulates. He has worked with local communities in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province and Gilgit-Baltistan in the northern mountainous areas. And yes, he's saying that thank you for sharing this knowledge as a commendable work covering such a vast area. And the methodology seems to be sound. Thank you. Yeah, and we have a further question from Flavia Francini Silvera about he is wondering about the areas with conflict. Is there a lot of conflicts with human settlements? Can you share more about how leopard and snow leopard studies compare? Did you do it the same way? Maybe Xueyang can answer this question.
Yeah, so firstly, I also want to edit some words for Dr. Sorry, I cannot pronounce your name, from Pakistan. Actually, we just had a snow leopard workshop in Nepal, and Dr. Ali from Pakistan just shared about the national assessment of snow leopard population in Pakistan. And we are also looking forward to this result. Maybe could also be shared on the snow leopard network. And we are also very glad to see that another country has been finished the snow leopard assessment work, especially in large area, and also condensed a lot of work. Okay, and for Flavia's question, Lin Yun, do you want to answer the first one? And then I could go with the leopard and snow leopard one.
Areas with conflict. Well, I think for the entire Tibetan Plateau, the human wildlife conflict is not concentrated on snow leopard. It's rather more concentrated on wolves and brown bears. Because snow leopard naturally have a spatial separation with human land use, as human land use is more concentrated on those flatter areas along the river valleys. But snow leopard and bra, they are higher in the mountains, in the rocky outcrops and steep mountains. So here on the Tibetan Plateau, the conflict is mild for human and snow leopard. But for other provinces, we do hear more severe conflict, especially like in Xinjiang, there is a valley. Our relatives were working there, and because of a disease happening several years ago, that killed most of the ibex there. So snow leopard started to prey on the sheep, domestic sheep, and that caused a lot of conflict. And the local herders are complaining a lot, even claim that they want to poison the snow leopard if they come to their to prey on their sheep again. But I think there are some conservation work has been conducted there. So luckily, we don't hear any snow leopard poisons. Yeah. So well, that's what we know about snow leopard conflict. And Xiang, you want to say more about the leopard and snow leopard comparison?
Yes. So we actually are conducting leopard survey in the same area where we're conducting the snow leopard survey in Sanjiangyuan region. But unlike snow leopard has very high density in Sanjiangyuan region because it's all very rugged, steppy, and rocks. But for leopards, there are not much suitable habitat inside Sanjiangyuan region. They only have a small area of forest in the southern part of Sanjiangyuan region. So the density of leopard is quite low in that area. And firstly, we want to try the same way which we conduct snow leopard, but we found that for the stratification it would be problems. So we couldn't get a good stratification result for leopards in those areas. We then decide not to apply the same way that we applied for snow leopard. That is because that for leopard data, although we also conducted camera trap surveys and also with hundreds of camera traps, but the detection rate and the captures, independent captures, or the leopard individuals is quite low compared with snow leopards. So for leopard, maybe we not use the multi-session SCCR modeling. We just used SCCR modeling. This is not a settled result yet, so we are still working on that. And if you have experiences about this kind of situation, we are welcome to discuss further.
Thank you, Lingyu and Xueyang. I see there are no questions in the chat box. If any participants who are interested in raising any questions or leaving some comments, feedbacks, or suggestions for our work, please feel to open your mic or, oh, I see one more question from Shrinish Buddha about so they are sharing the habitat regardless, wondering how species interaction really looks like here. Is the altitude a range segregator? Are people working on interspecies interaction in your study area? Maybe you can answer this question.
No, this is Xueyang's PhD thesis, so she's the best people to answer this.
Yeah, there are people working on their interspecific relationships. That is me. So I spent my PhD is like about 6 years on that topic for the interspecific relationship between snow leopard and common leopards. So now there are more and more publications about those two leopard species, but most research, they found that altitude, they are separating with altitude. That is, common leopard would occupy habitat in lower region inside the forest, and the snow leopard will use the higher habitat that is maybe above the tree line. Also, in our study area, we observe similar phenomena. In one of my sites, I also observed that altitude separation of two leopard species. But in the other site, actually it is very interesting. We found those two species overlapped at a quite high degree. Like they not only appear on the same camera trap site, but in different time at different time. But the time interval could be less in hours. So they must know that there is another leopard species in that area. So for my PhD, actually I conduct not only for their like interspecific relationship between them, but also for the distribution history for the past 3 years of these two leopard species. So I think we may need another seminar for that research. But I could just give some take-home message for now. Like in that area, we found that they coexist quite well. They don't have habitat segregation or separation in one of my study area that is called onsite. It is also inside Sanjiangyuan National Park. We also have a big Cat Valley project here for ecotourism. In that area, we have like more than 20 snow leopard individuals that has been recorded in each sampling period, but we only have like 5 or so leopard individuals in that area. So we didn't detect any, fierce like spatial interaction between those two leopard species. And also for the diet, although I didn't collect enough fecal samples for common leopards, we already find that blue sheep, which is the main food for snow leopard there, also occupied a high ratio of common leopard diet. Like in 5 scats we obtained, we got from common leopards, 4 of them contains blue sheep. So in that area, maybe they also have a high overlap in diet. We guess, since it's not published, so I would use guess. So we guess that it is because the quite low density of the common leopard population here, so that not brings that much like fierce competition between those two leopard species.
Thank you, Xueyang. We have one more question from Flavia about how do you suggest approaching the organizations for sharing data? There are lots of concern on it. How did you overcome it? Xueyang, do you know the process? Oh, yeah.
Maybe Li, you could, yes.
Comments, because Chunyu is the one who coordinated for our post in Sanjiangyuan area. Chunyu did a lot of coordination work to approach different organizations to ask them to share the data. So, well, for the larger scale, I think the most difficult part is not those research academias or NGOs. Most of the independent scholars or the NGOs, they are willing to share their data. The most difficult part is the governmental owned data. So previously, like Xueyang mentioned, we have coordinated snow leopard conservation and research report in the year 2018. And in that to produce that report, we have aligned with a lot of NGOs, as many NGOs and scholars in China who are working on snow leopard, and all of them are willing to share at least not the raw data, but at least how much work they have been doing and what's the result. So we have compiled all those materials together to make that report happen. And based on that network, we have built good connections with each other. So basically, we want to say, okay, we can collaboratively do something bigger together. They are collaborate. They are most of them will be willing to do that. But currently, some province, maybe Xueyang know better, and Chunyue, because you have attended those current meetings with the different provinces. What I feel is that if the work work has been coordinated. For example, in Sichuan provinces, the work has been coordinated by the forestry bureau there, the governmental-led work. Then normally the data sharing will be difficult with us because the governments, they want to be the reporter of their final results. And yeah, so they could be a little bit protective about the data. But Chunyue might be able to add more details about this work. What do you find is the best strategy to approach them and yeah, asking them to share the data, and Xiang may add more about the recent.
Yes, I think it's exactly what Lin has said. Like we have built a good communication and a relationship with the partner organizations, and we have discussed much of our snow leopard research and monitoring work. So we have like a common direction, and so through this way we are they are willing to share their data with us, and we are collaborating in this snow leopard population assessment work. Like it's more of a bottom-up approach. And for some regions like Sichuan province, as Lin has said, like the snow leopard population assessment work is more of like a top-down approach, like that is led by governments. But we cannot say like which way is more efficient, but I think both ways can work. Like we can work collaboratively to collect all the existing research efforts to help form joint efforts in estimating the snow leopard population. So we are about 1 hour now. So maybe I will ask if Xueyang and Lin want to add more for today's talk.
Thank you to all the audiences and and ask so many questions. Thank you all.
I was just going to say, they've asked you so many questions and so much of discussion. Thank you ever so much for joining us and giving us this presentation.
Also, thank you, Rocky,
yeah,
for
we
organizing
shall
this.
invite you back for the rest of the presentation and discussion. One more, Chunyue. You said that it involves another presentation, so we'll be sure to invite you back for that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you all. Bye.